Giving the logic in binary to document and document to binary. I tried, so but the output didn't come.
Okay, we'll take a look at it. Okay. Sushmita, let's go ahead and check your logic, what you have done. Prashant, can you provide the access?
Yes, I have provided.
Okay. Sushmita, now you can share your screen. Yeah, I can see your screen. I can see, but your voice is not audible actually. Hello. Yeah, your voice is not audible. Okay, do one thing. Validate. Just validate. Now, what is the input you have taken? CSV file. Okay. Can you close it? Open the binary to document. Snap. Okay. And what did you the document to binary? Mhm. Okay. Anything would work actually. So even document will work. What is the top file name? Data.csv. Is it data.csv or data1.csv? Okay. Um, okay, you can stop your sharing. Actually, I cannot hear you, so there are few questions to ask. Anyway, Session, can you share your screen? You can share your screen, Session. Sorry. Okay.
So I use file reader to read the file, then use binary copy
Mm-hmm.
to copy the file to two pipelines. Now I use binary to document and document to binary.
Okay. What is the option that you have selected in binary to document and document to binary?
I have selected encode base 64
Okay.
encode and here decode base 64.
Okay. How did you see the output? Can you show me the output of document to binary? Preview file. Okay. So,
This is the data.
okay, close it out. So what is the difference you have identified from top to bottom? You are doing the same thing with CSV formatter and CSV parser as well. And at the same time, you are doing the same thing with binary to document to document to binary. But you have used some encoding, that is fine. What else is the difference that you have identified? Do you think is there any difference between those two?
Yeah,
Mhm. So what if you are not using the encoding format? You are not encoding and you are not decoding. What if you are using some other format or some other attribute option that is there? Close it out. Open the binary to document. Yeah. Open the attributes there. Encode base64. That options. So what if you did you try it with every other option or only encode?
I have tried, but I could not get the output.
Can you check with none? So the task that I have given you all is I want you all to try every other option and tell me the difference. So the first thing that we have understood clearly that when we encode, we can basically decode using the document to binaries now, right?
Right.
So what if leave the first two options? That is fine because you can be able to understand directly that you have to perform encoding or you have to perform decoding. So those are straightforward. You can get it done. There is no problem. And we can also understand that typically based on the source file, if source file is encoded, then we use the decode option here and then use it out, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, if it is not encoded, we use this encoding option here to encode and then finally decode and then push to the file. So that is how it is. So first two options are fine. So my point is, what about the next three options? So can you save it out? Yeah. So I want you to let me know the difference between the options that you have, the three options that you have with the CSV parser and formatter. So now try and validate it. Yeah, can you click on retry? So what is the output of none? Hmm. Okay, it has given me as a string now, right? The complete string.
Yeah.
Now close it down and at the same time in the binary document to binary, can you show me the output? Yeah, close it out and change the value to none here as well. Yeah, show me the output of that. Review. So using none, using the none option in both the snaps, and we are able to see the output clearly, and it is matching with the CSV formatter and parser options, right?
Right.
So likewise, can you just go ahead and do with the same thing with the document? So before going to that, will it work? The document, will it work? I have told you the reason yesterday, whether it will work or not, and which format will it expect if you put document. Maybe you can just give me a guess if you're not sure. If you put the document option in binary to document as a first place, at a first place, so will it work? Question to everyone, not only Shashank.
No, sir,
Okay, why won't it work?
because it is expecting a JSON format input.
Perfect. So Shashank, let's go ahead and uh, put it to document and let's try it out. Let's see. what it will do. Save, close, retry, not that, retry. Yeah. Can you see the error there? Open it. Failed to read data, failed to read from binary input view, unrecognized token employee ID, was expecting JSON string, right? Whenever you want to use the document option, you have to blindly keep it in your mind that when you want to use the document option, the option or the input value should be in a JSON string. JSON string in the sense array of objects, open brackets and close brackets and square brackets, everything. Not in a comma separated values. The values from input is a in a comma separated values, right? Because it is a CSV file. It's not JSON file. But if you have a JSON file and it is in a JSON string format, you can use the document format, document option here. Right?
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
And now go and check with, so what do you identify now? So we cannot use document with CSV or even Excel also, because Excel data will also be not coming in a JSON string, right? So document option with or in the binary documents now can only be used when the data is in a JSON string value, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's go and try with the next option. Close it out and click on retry. Show me the output of binary document. Go to last. So it is showing us this base64 encoded data, right? So what is the option that is there as of now in the binary to document snap? Sorry, document to binary snap. The next snap in the sense. None.
Got it.
No, not this. The next snap, the option that we have kept is none, right?
Yeah.
So let's see the output when it is none. Preview the file. It's still able to decode it properly, right? Even that is base64 encoded data or byte array, which is in a byte array, it was able to decode it properly. This uh, document to binary snap. Now let's try out with the byte array format. What it will do? Let's go ahead and check. Not that. Go and put the byte array. Close it out and validate. Retry. Click on retry. Now see the output. So it has given the perfect format. So basically, whenever you are using the type in the binary to document in the sense parser, make sure that you are using the same type of formatting option or the option that you have available in the document to binary snap. Same. Okay. Keep the same options. Let's say if you are trying to do using a binary byte array option, then use the same thing here as well. Okay.
Okay.
Are you able to identify the difference between the three options that we have done now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is what I have asked. I mean, I want you to identify the differences. I know you can build the pipeline, but what if which option you use when there is a type of file? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can stop sharing. Abhishek, let's take a look at your logic and see.
Is it visible, sir?
Right.
So I am also using the same logic here.
Mm-hmm.
But in the binary document, I'm using the none
Okay.
because in the output, if we want to see the data in the output, we have to select only the none
Okay.
because a document is not available for the CSV file.
Correct.
So here, if we want to see the data, we have to use the none only option.
Right.
So I've selected that only in the both of these snaps.
Perfect.
But sir, actually, I have a doubt in the byte array.
Okay.
I mean, can you give a brief about this again?
So basically, the encode base 64 is doing the base 64 encoding, right? And byte array is also a sort of encoding format, but the data is separated in a bytes and put it into an array. That's where they call it as byte array. But this is also a base 64 encoded. The data inside will be in a base 64 encoded format itself, but not like encode base 64. The first option. The first and fifth option are quite similar, but the data formatting will be different inside. The encoding mechanism will be different. That's it. That's the only difference.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Mostly, they both are doing the encoding part and decoding part as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
Encoding and decoding as well. But the data that they sort, or the mechanism that they use to encode the data, is different from top to bottom.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
And question to everyone. So I have told this is fine, Abhishek. I mean, that's what I want. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
So to go, yeah, Manohari, please go ahead.
So what if we use decode the 64 in binary to document as the format is coming in file reader is .csv. So
Your voice is not clear actually.
what if we use decode base 64 in binary to document? So
I mean that option you have to try. That's what the task is.
yes, sir, I tried, but the output didn't come. And can we use like that, sir? Actually, I thought of using it like from the file reader, the input is coming as .csv, no, sir.
Right.
So I have used decode base 64 in binary to document snap, and document to binary I have used encode snap.
So basically, when you use directly decoding without having the file in an encoded format, I told you yesterday that when do we use decode? When the input file is in a base 64 encoded format, right? So if you use directly decoding, it doesn't make sense basically. I mean, we have to keep in mind that whenever there is a file and it is in an encoded format, we go with the decode. Otherwise, we go with the next three options or any other options that we have, except encoding and decoding, because customer did not ask me to do the encoding. So first option is we cannot use, and the second thing is decode option cannot be used because the input file is not in an encoded format. So that is one thing. So that's where they have given next three options, and the last option is also an encoding, byte array, right? Encoding. And in the document to binary snap, or in the formatter snap, I would say, if you use byte array, it will decode by default. So basically, encode and decode, there are two options for it. They have given two options, encode and decode. Separately they have given. But byte array, by default, what it will do, it will decode when you use it in a formatter snap, in the sense document to binary. Okay. And the last three options you should consider when the file is not encoded or decoded. If they did not ask you to encode or decode or something, when you use none, as I said, that typically uses the encoding mechanism on the Snaplex. When they install Snaplex, they will put some encoding mechanism for sure. So this pipeline will default go back to that encoding mechanism, and it will use it internally. Okay, that encoding mechanism and everything we cannot see, but by default that will be used. Internally that will be used. Okay, and when it comes to document, you already know the data, it should be in a string of JSON object. JSON string should be there as an input. Then only we can use it. Otherwise, we cannot. Right? These are the options we have. So encoding and decoding, should be used on a customer purpose. Whenever the file is encoded from input, you should use decoding. If they ask us to encode it and then decode it, then right,
You can use.
then you
Yes.
use decoding.
Thank you, sir.
None by default. If you want to use it or not, by default you can keep it, but that will also perform some encoding mechanism and decoding mechanism. Document, you already know the data should be in a JSON string.
Yes.
It is also one sort of encoding mechanism wherein the data is stored in a bytes of array format. These will all go internally. You cannot see it directly through your MakeWrite. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions we have on this? So, question to everyone. I told you that there are few, JavaScript methods that we can use, or inbuilt methods given by SnapLogic that we can use if we want to encode or decode. What are those methods? I have discussed this in yesterday's session.
Base 64 method. I think.
Right. So in the functions and properties, they have given this base 64, and they have provided multiple options there to encode as binary, decode as binary. So it's up to you now. I mean, we have discussed the basics of that functions as well. You basically know what it means, but it is now up to you. You have to explore those methods as well. Okay, which was given directly there. Make sense?
Okay.
And Ashwini, what is the what did you stuck with? You said you stuck
Actually, yeah, I got my solution. When I save the pipeline, I does not able to get the output there.
Okay.
So as I see, Sasank also tried this thing, and when Sasank tried for the retries for the saving, it got the output, and the same I will apply with my pipeline. I'm also able to got this output there. So
Okay.
after retry option, I resolve my issue.
Okay. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. I mean, when you are not getting the results, click on retry. What retry will do is basically SnapLogic uses a cache memory. Okay. We generally have a cache. What SnapLogic it will do, what it will do is, first it will get the data in SnapLogic. It will try to store it in a cache memory, so that whenever you do multiple validations, it will get the direct data from the cache memory itself. It won't go to the file, and it won't give you the results again and again, because that is a performance related issue that will be a. So what it will do is, first time when it will fetch the data, it stores in the cache, and it will validate your pipeline, or it will run your pipeline. So whenever you click on retry, the cache will be cleared and the new data will be pushed into the cache. Then the snaps will get the results. So it's better that whenever you are not getting the proper results, or when the validation is happening very fast, it's better, or it is a suggestible way, that you go and click on retry, so that cache will be refreshed and the data you will be able to see it properly.
Yes, even I try with the save the pipeline has multiple time, it's not work, and when I try with the retry, it's working now.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, makes sense. So Manohari, what is the problem you have? Where did you start with it?
So actually, I gave like that. So in binary to document, I gave as decode, and in document to binary, I gave it as.
Okay.
And
You tried it in a different way. That is fine. You have to try it. So what did you get as a result, as an output for that?
encoded format, sir. Something like.
No, some random string
Yes, sir.
from decode. I mean, outside of that.
Yes, sir. The preview is like that. It is same.
Okay. So what did you use in document to binary? Did you try to use same decode option, or did you try it with something else?
Encode base 64, sir, I have used.
Your voice is too low, actually.
Encode base 64, sir, I used.
Okay. So it has given you the result as encoding itself, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you try with same decode?
No, sir.
Try it out. I think you will get the result also there, because decoding you have used, it has given you some random string.
Yes, sir.
That's not a proper way. That is fine. But try to use in the next snap. Try to put the same document to in the document to binary, same option, decode.
Yes, sir. Then decode. I will, sir.
Yeah, please try it out.
Okay, sir.
Anyone else has any questions?
Yeah, Manoj. Actually, at the yesterday you have asked for the date.
Right.
You asked for the remove the hyphen and convert the string into a date. I'm trying the both of things, but not able to short the date. So if any of the time you have to discuss on that topic,
I will let you know. Okay.
Okay.
We will
Yeah.
discuss that dates one session. Maybe
Okay.
not one session. Maybe I'll spend 15-20 minutes on sorting the so that you will be able to get the information.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at few other snaps. So till now we have seen how we can write a file into a particular location, right? This is our previous pipeline. So till now we have seen how we can write a file into a particular location. What if we want to delete a file from a particular location, right? So now we will take a look at a snap where we can delete a file from a particular location, right? Let's go ahead and see. So we will be using the manager itself, the SnapLogic SLTV, because we don't have any external system to where we can perform all these operations. I'm showing you within the SnapLogic itself, but in real time, you won't be, mostly 99% of the times, you won't be doing with just SLTV or within the SnapLogic database. You will be doing something or somewhere else. So I told you that these days S3 is the most used, file system. So you may get a chance to delete files from there itself. Okay. So now let's go and pick some files or one file where we can delete. So this is our project, and go to files. So let's go and delete this file maybe. Okay. So now what I will do is I will go ahead and create a pipeline. Delete file. Right. So let me take a okay. So now let me go ahead and take the file. So this is the one. I don't think so. So first of all, let's go ahead and take a look at the delete. So for this option, we have this file delete option. Okay. Wherein this snap has both closed input and output views. What you will generally do is you will go and open the input, because you expect some input for this snap. The deletion will happen at last, so you expect some deletion happening at last, so you will expect some input to this, right? And if you see that the data is in a documented format, it's not in a binary format, right? Because the data the shape is circle here, right? So let's not worry about the other options right now. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. So now if I want to give the option of circle, can I use file read? No, because the file read has a diamond shape as an output, right? So what can I do? So there is this option for us to where we can fetch the files. I can just do it like this. And then in the directory, what I would do is, what is the directory? What is the directory here?
SLDB.
SLDB, right? And in the file filter, what I will do, I want to delete this file, right? Same date employee.csv. Same date employee.csv. Okay. This is the file I want to get, or I want to read from the SLDB. So now I see it has failed. Why it has failed? Because I have kept a different URL there altogether. So now if I see, I am able to get the result, and there are some properties or metadata that is it has given. So there are different type of things. I told you one time that in one of our previous sessions, I told you that we have to use one of the options wherein we want to fetch the input result. So there are two ways. One is a name property, and the second one is path properties. I told you sometime in our previous sessions, which property do we need to give the first precedence, or at first place, which property do we need to use, or a suggestible way of doing it? So between path
Path?
and name, yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we need to give the path? Because it is an absolute way of giving the address, right? It is giving the complete address at which folder or which root. It present at root. So that's where it has given us SLDB : 3/ and directly the file name, right? It will give you the complete address of the or location of the file, right? Wherein the file name will only give you the file, name of the file. So it's not a right way, or maybe the snap may fail at some point of time, or it may take more time for searching the same file, right? So if I say Manoj, there could be many number of Manoj, right? But if I give my address also, so my address will be unique, because there will be there is no chance, or maybe very less chances, that people with same name will be there in the same place or same location, right? So that's where we use the absolute path. Absolute path is nothing but a complete path, right? So that's where it's a suggestible way to use the path. So in the file delete option, what I will do is I will provide that path, right? I will let you know these details. I mean, this detail you need to worry. These things you already know: number of retries, how many number of times it has to retry if a snap is failed. So it internally tries to recommunicate with the location, or it will try to go and look at the location internally based on number of retries. I already told you this option. And the retry interval. Interval is nothing but after how many number of seconds I have to look back again, right? And don't worry about the advanced options, and you already know what are the snap execution properties, right? I will tell you what these two operations are. Now let's go ahead and see what it will do. Let me go and open this output view so that it will be better for us to understand. Okay. So now if I just, why it has not given me the any result? Because I have put execute only. So if I want validation result, it should have validate and execute, right? So it has not failed. It has given me some output. What it has given me? So it has given me the file or the location it has deleted from, and it has provided me 200 OK, right? In internet terms, or in there are different status codes. Code starting with the 200, code starting with 400, code starting with 500. So code starting with 200 is nothing but success. There are different codes, but every code has different description. But in general, codes starting with 200 is called success. Okay. codes starting with 400 is like page not found. So basically, whenever you don't have internet or internet is lost, and you see that when you try to look for a file, it shows you page not found, 404 error. It's a general error that we get basically when you try to go and look for something in an internet, and when there is no internet, and when you try to browse it, right? So likewise, generally all the 400 statuses, there are different 400 statuses, 405, 406, likewise. So 404 is something we already know, so that's where I given you examples. So 400 is something, is nothing but a file not found, or maybe error. It's something, generally we can say error. So the third thing is 500 status. 500 status is nothing but server is not available. So basically, when I say server is not available, so for example, I have put, or I have placed my file in an S3 location, right? So basically, S3 location is nothing but, as I told you, it's a file system where we can place a file. So in that scenario, if we want to communicate to that, or if my Snap wants to communicate to that particular location, basically what I will do, I will go and provide the account details here and the respective URL here, and it will directly go and delete the file, right? But for some reason, S3 is down in the sense it's not available. The server is down, or server is switched off, or something. Server is nothing but a computer that is there available at the external system. For some reason that is down, then you will get the 500 server error. Okay, you will get the 500 server error when there is a server down. 400 statuses are nothing but a failure or an error. 200 is success. So I am giving you a general nomenclature, but you go to internet and search for how many different statuses are there. So as you can see, it has given me the 200 status. It means success. So now let's go to manager and see. So this is the file that we have deleted, right? So now let me go and refresh. So do you see that file? It used to be in the first place. So let me go ahead and search with this. Let's see if I will be able to find something. Same date. So no data available in the table. In the table, in the sense, in this space, there is no file with this name, right? So this is one way of doing. So what if we already know the file name? What if I already know, I don't want to, search for the file or something, right? When do we go for directory browser? Whenever we don't know the file, right? We generally, what we do, we generally take star.csv or all the CSV files, we will try to get it, and then filter it from there, and we identify the respective files, right? Then only we go to directory browser. What if I already know the file name? So I want you to tell me how I can provide this. What if I already know? So I'm giving you a hint. I have to give the absolute path here. So now question to everyone. I want answer from any one of you, that what if I want to directly use this? I don't want to use the directory browser. I want to use directly this snap. It is also possible. Only this snap can only delete it. So hint to you all is I have to provide the absolute path. So what is the path? Maybe I want to use, or I want to delete this mulval.csv, mul_val.csv. So what do I need to provide here? So hint is I have to provide the absolute path of this file. So what will be the absolute path of this file?
Should we use the asterisk here?
No,
Star?
you cannot use it. It
Okay.
won't. I told you absolute path. It's like complete address of a file. I told you how we can provide the absolute address or complete address of a file. And I showed you, I mean, before 2 minutes itself, I showed you what is an absolute path.
SLDB semicolon /// and
one second, SLDB colon.
//
Okay,
mal underscore val.csv.
perfect. So if I provide this, let's see whether this will work or not. Okay. It has provided me the value, and it has told me that it has deleted it. So now let's go ahead and see. See, it has deleted. So what do you understand from this and this? So $path contains the absolute path, right? So if you already know the file name, and if you already know the file name, right? And before itself, you would already know the location of the file as well, right? You just need to know what is the file name. That's it. And you already know where you have placed the file and the location of it, right? If that file is placed under multiple folders, you already know what is the folder name, correct? So in that case, it's suggestible way that if you don't know the file name, go with the directory browser and look for the files and do some logic according to you, and then try to delete those files. If not, you already know, then try to provide the absolute path along with the file name, then it will automatically delete that file. Make sense? So now I told you there are two actions here. File delete action. Error if file not found. Right? So what this option will do is, when we try to delete this file, and if this file is not available, what it will do? There are two actions provided here. Error if file not found. If that file, particular file that I am wanting to delete it now is not available, then error out. In the sense, fail. Ignore if file not found. In the sense, just ignore it. Don't worry about it. Ignore it. So now let's go ahead and try it with this option. Okay. So as I said, there is no file with this name, right? So what it will do, it has to fail, but let's see. What it has done, failed to delete this, reason 404 not found. So I told you earlier, there are different statuses. 404 is one of the status we see frequently, which is nothing but not found. Not found in the sense it's not available. Okay. Makes sense. Now let's go ahead and see what if I keep this ignore if file is not there. It has provided me the result, and it has given me the exact value as is. It has ignored it, but what it has done, it was showing me that it has deleted the file, but actually the file was deleted earlier itself, right? The file was deleted earlier itself. What it has done, as I had kept the ignore option there, it has ignored, and it was saying me, or it was telling me that it has already deleted, or it is deleted now, but the actual thing is it has deleted already. Okay, understood? And any questions on this? These two options also you are able to get it, right? Yeah. So don't worry about this validation option. This is something advanced. So when you try to apply more and more, and at some point of time you will be able to excuse me, you will be able to understand this. But for now, don't worry about it. Okay. Make sense? So now let's go ahead and try to delete a file within a folder. Okay. Let's try to create a folder first. So I'm trying to pick a file here. Okay. And how do I create a folder? Using the file writer. target CSV, and then I want to use the same file name. Okay. So I just want to see how it has been given as an output. So does it giving me any file name or not? So if you see in this content location, it has given me the file name. So what I will do is, it will, I will use this content location. Okay. But see, it has given me this SLDB. So I don't want that SLDB. What I am doing, I am replacing it with normally. So this is the, so under target to CSV, it will go and insert this file, right? So now let me go ahead and see what it will do. It has written that file. So now go to all, there is this target, and under that CSV, and this is the file, right? The same file that I have taken out there. So now I want to delete that. So now everyone tell me, I want to delete it directly. What will be the location now? So SLDB is common. Now what will be the location? Any one of you? What is the absolute path for this file or this file delete that I need to provide?
Target, then forward slash
Okay.
CSV,
Okay.
and the forward slash the file name.
So do you know the file name correctly? Or there, we don't know, we can understand, but there is some dates appended to this, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, what we do generally is we go to directory browser. Okay. We provide this same location. Okay. And then here we will filter out. How we will filter out? So now, what is the file name that I understand? The dates may change, right? Every time the dates may change. There is a possible case. Every run, the date and time will change. Is it or not? So I know the prefix of the file is same. What is the prefix of the file? Updated employees underscore one underscore employees underscore one underscore. So this is the prefix of the file name, right? And this won't be changing anytime. Correct? So what I will do after this, I will put on #. So it will just check for all the files starting with this prefix, right? I have already showed you this. Okay, starting this prefix, and after that I want to add the type also. How can I add that? Dot CSV, right? Because my file is CSV. Yes or no? So now let's go and find out whether it is able to get that particular file or not. Based on the filter that I have given, whether it is able to get that file or not. So it has given me that file and it is able to get that, right? This is the absolute path we tried to give in the file delete earlier, right? As we know that there are dates appended at last, we cannot be sure what date will be, right? We cannot use directly the file delete option because the dates may vary, the time may vary. Let's say if a pipeline is running for every 4 hours and we have updated or attached a date to the file name, will it be possible that we can delete that file? Because we are not sure what will be the time, because we are adding time sorry, hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds also. So if you see after T, this is hours, and after colon, this is 03 is hours, 22 is minutes, 14 is seconds, and 207 is milliseconds, right? So to our file name, we are adding time also, in the sense hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. So for every time or every run, it will change. So in that case, we cannot provide the exact name to the file delete. Then in that scenario, you go and look for this directory option and get that file, and you will get that path, right? So now try to provide that path. Now let's go ahead and see how it will delete. Oh, just a second. So now let me go ahead and run it out. It has deleted that, I guess. So there is no file, right? So there is a target folder, there is a CSV, but the file is deleted. Make sense? Any questions now? Are we clear with file delete?
But the folder is already exist there.
We are
is this
trying
only
to
file?
delete a file, only file delete, not the folder delete.
Okay.
It will only delete the file. Deletes a file, not the folder. We cannot delete a folder.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So I hope this is clear. Delete file concept, right? How you can delete within the folder, and if you know the file name, directly you can put it there in the file delete, the absolute path, because that is the recommended way. Otherwise, you go and use the directory browser, provide the particular filter for that, and then get that file and then use it in the file delete and delete it out. I have showed you two different ways. One is to delete outside of the folder directly and within the folder also by providing the folder names in the absolute path, or it's an address of that location actually where the file is located. Make sense? Okay. Now let's go ahead and see another file types map, wherein till now what we have seen how to read a file, how to search in a directory, or how to get multiple files, how to write, right, how to delete. These four options we have seen: read, write, delete, and search. We have seen. What if I want to copy a file from one location to another location, and I want to move the file from one location to another location? So these are basic things that we generally do, right? Even in our computer, what we will do, we will create a new file, right? That is what file writer does here in SnapLogic. What we generally do, we will open a file and we will read the contents. That is what it will file reading is doing. We generally go to a folder and we will look for a file, right? That is what directory browser, file poller, and multi-file reader is doing. And now we generally go and delete a file whenever that is not required from the maybe bin or somewhere else, right? That is what the file delete option is doing. And the other common use cases that we generally do, right, in our normal days, or maybe in the coding level, is the copy and the move operations, right? We want to move the file from one place to another place, and we want to move the copy the file from one folder to another folder. So copy in the sense, file will be there in the two locations as well, because we are just trying to copy from one location to another location. The file will be there in the two locations. Move is nothing but move the file, or completely move the file from one location to another location. So now I will show you generally how we do it in general SnapLogic terms, right? So there is this folder, right? There is this folder. and there is this file employees.csv. So if you see, there is this move option. If you see, there is this move option and there is this copy option, right? As we are doing it in SnapLogic, we can see these two options. But when we want to move or copy externally, right, in any other external system, for example, S3 that I was talking about, the file system, I want to move the file from one folder to another folder, right? Then I cannot perform these actions here in SnapLogic. I have to have a separate Snap for that, right? But I'm showing you this example as well, wherein I'm doing or we are looking the sessions in the trial version itself. So this option is also available, right? If you are trying to move or copy manually, how you can do it, right? I can click on this move and I can select the project, right? Correct. And then move. An error occurred processing a file with the name employees.csv. The target asset already exists. If the target is already existing, it is asking whether do you want me to overwrite or you want me to skip it, right? Overwrite. So this will completely move. You won't be able to see that file. And if I go to the files, you can see that employee.csv has been moved today, right? 5/12, May 12. Correct? So in the same way, I want to copy this file to any of the target folder, right? This is the folder I have, project or folder. I want to copy. What are all the assets I want to copy? Only file. I don't want to copy the file, pipelines, accounts and everything. Copy. It will throw me a pop-up saying that the copy is successful, right? The asset different data already exists in target. Do you want to overwrite? So it is asking the same thing because we tried to copy it to the same location, right? So overwrite, I am asking it to overwrite because the data is same, but basically we go and skip it because the same file is already exists. What if the data is from this file to that file is different? So it will just overwrite actually, right? So this is how we generally do in SnapLogic using these two options, copy and move, right? If you identify one thing, I click this and I want to copy this. Can you see that? Is there any option that we can select the target folder that we have created? We have created a target folder here, right? In SnapLogic sample POC project. That folder is not available at all because by default, as I told you earlier, we cannot create a folder within SnapLogic Manager, and manually also you cannot move a file to a folder. When you create a folder using your SnapLogic pipeline, it will be available as a directory, but you cannot do any manual actions. You cannot move this file to this because that copy option or move option will not provide you that. See, it is only giving you these three options, right? Make sense? So this is how we generally do or manually do. What if on a programmatic level or a snap level, I want to perform that action? So I want to create a pipeline, copy and move POC, right? So I have created a pipeline and I want to see what is the snap. So there is a snap called file operation. Okay. This is how it looks. So if I hover on this, it is saying that the snap moves a file or a directory from source to target. It can also copy a file, right? So this is how the setting looks. It is asking you for the source absolute path, target absolute path, and the operation that you want to perform here. There are two options here, move and copy. And then error if exists. Error out if file is already available. But when you do it manually, it is asking you for, what is that? Can you skip it? Can you overwrite it? Can you just leave it as is? But here there is no option. If this checkbox is checked, it will automatically throw an error, or the snap will fail, saying that the file is already available. We will do a small thing by keeping it, and by removing it also, small POC. Okay. So now let me go ahead and find out a file. This file, employees.csv. So that is the source. Source is nothing but from which file to pick it up. SLDB employees.csv. Okay. Now move this file from this location to SLDB :3/target/csv/employees.csv. Okay. I want this to, let's go ahead and first try it out with copy option. So I want to copy this file from this location to this location. Okay. Now I don't need any input or outputs. I just can do it like this. But see, unsupported protocol. The protocol in the URL is not supported. What is the protocol here? SLDB is the protocol. So file operation snap cannot be used with SLDB. The protocol in this URL, in this absolute path, is SLDB. That is the protocol basically. So let me try it out with only with removing the folders also. Let's see whether it will fail, or it will provide me any result here. It has provided me the result. Just a second. Here, unsupported protocol, same thing. Let me run it again and see with a different option. Unsupported port. It is working fine. And let's see. This is the pipeline, and this is the file that I have done earlier, but not the current file. And what if I want to perform a move operation? It has moved, it said. So now let's go ahead and try it out, and we don't see any difference. And now I want this file to move it to target/csv/. So now let's go ahead and take a look at it. So it will again fail because of this unsupported protocol. Why is this unsupported protocol? Because when you do it manually, right? I want to move to this target. Are you able to see that folder here? SnapLogic does not have support, but somehow we are able to create it using Snap or file writer, wherein we can only write it to that file or read it from that location, but we cannot copy to that location, or we cannot move it from that location. Copy and move to the folder that we created using the code level, that is not possible, right? SLDB does not support it. But other than SLDB, let's say you want to perform with S3, yes, it is possible. Okay, it only has problem with SLDB. SLDB has this limitation of copy and moving, right? It cannot copy or it cannot move if to the different things, to the different places. Any questions on this? So if I give the same name, it will give you success because it is trying to do the same thing. So there is no problem in this because it is not affecting anything. But if I want to change the file name, let's say from employees.csv data to create a employee CSV, employees underscore one dot CSV. If I say something like this and perform a copy operation, right? Then also it will fail because SLDB does not support copy or move. That is the main thing. But in any external system like S3 or Azure or something wherein you have SFTPs or FTPs, where you have file system available, you will be able to move or copy. But SnapLogic database or SLDB in the manager has some limitation wherein it cannot move or copy the file, but instead we can create a folder using a file writer. We can write it to that location. We can delete it from that location. We can read it from that location. But as per the SnapLogic, there is this limitation for copy and move, wherein it cannot copy or move for SLDB, but it will be possible for any other external systems like SFTPs, FTPs, S3, Azure, anything. Right? So this option you already understood, right? Error if exists. So in the external system, when you feel that the file is available, right, or there is a chance that you might have that file in that location, what you will do is you generally keep this checkbox in. You don't have access to that location, but you want to understand through Snap that whether that file is not available. When the file is available, it will just throw an error, right? It will just completely fail. Yes or no? Because this is what that option does. But if that file is not available, it will not show you an error. Instead, it will copy or move according to the action that you have selected here. Right? When you want to connect to any external system, you have to create an account for that. That is the main thing or mandatory thing that you want to remember. Right? The source is the from location and target is the to location. From this to this, create a file or copy a file. Copy a file or move a file. Those are the two operations that you can perform. Right? So now we have discussed about reading a file. First of all, searching a file using directory browser or file poller or multi-file reader. Okay. Read a file using file reader. Multi-file reader also comes to this section, but multi-file reader can do both browse searching or browsing as well as reading the contents of a file, right? And then we have we have discussed about the file writing option wherein we can write the files, and then we have looked at file operation wherein we can copy the file and we can move the file. But with SLDB it is not possible. It is not possible. We cannot perform that action live, but I have showed you why it is not possible, because of the failure or SLDB constraint that SnapLogic has put it to move from one location to another location. Within SnapLogic, it is not possible. File delete operation, where we can delete a file within a folder or outside of the folder as well. Right? So basically most of the major transformations that we can do with a file are done. All the snaps that are related or the snap operations that we can do, right? Like reading, writing, searching, deleting, copying and moving. We have discussed all the file operation related things, right? By this, we are almost done with the file things, right? There are few other snaps as well, not to the file related stuff, but other than that, but the file related stuff wherein the file is placed in some location and you want to read it from source, and if you want to push that file into a different location, in between snaps, what you can use, what are the snaps that you can use for reading, writing and browsing, deleting and copy and move. So these are the basic operations that you generally do with a file, and we have discussed all together of it. So now let me know on all these snaps, that file related snap till now we have discussed. Do you have any questions? So we have covered, or we are done with all the file related snaps almost. You can see most of them. many of them, but these are the basic things that we discuss and we need to cover. This is the base for all those. Maybe on top of that, S3 file related we have seen earlier, right? S3 file related or S3 related file reader, file writer are there. So on top of this, they have designed that, right? So if I want to see the delete, so there are many deletes. Let's go ahead and see S3 related delete if we have any. So S3 delete. So it is same like the normal delete that we have seen, but bucket is something that I told you that bucket is nothing but a folder. We can provide that, and if there is any key for that, we have to provide that key as well, right? So this is some what do you say, enhanced or updated way of doing for exactly S3. Likewise, there are many snaps related to their particular use case, like Azure does have their own, S3 does have their own. If there are any other external system, they will have their own. But these days, Amazon or AWS related snaps we are using most commonly, and we have to provide the bucket name along with the file name, and the key is nothing but key will be provided when you create an account with S3. That key authorizes that you have that file deletion ability or access. If you are admin, you can delete it. Likewise, they will divide your user access. Based on the user access, you can delete the file or not on S3. If you just have read access, you cannot delete a file, right? If you just have read and write, you cannot delete a file. If you have all three, read, write, and delete, then you can read a file, write a file, and delete a file. Likewise, they will provide an access and they will provide a key for that, and that key you need to provide here. So this is same like the S3 delete, and you can use our normal delete instead of this S3 delete, wherein you don't need to worry about all these options, right? You can directly go and use our normal delete, and you can provide our absolute path and give the dollar path, or maybe in double quotes provide the complete URL, and then it will take that action or perform that action. Make sense? Likewise, there is this S3 copy. We have copy operation here separately from source bucket, and the source has an object key, and target bucket. What is the target key? Source to target. So that is what we are doing here also, source to target, right? This operation provides us both copy and move. So we can directly use this by creating a S3 account here. We can directly use this snap instead of S3 copy. Likewise, there are the reflective snaps also there with that particular use case, but the general snaps that we have covered now, we can use those directly instead of going for their particular snaps. You don't need to necessarily create an account for S3. Instead of S3 snaps, you can directly go with the snaps that we have discussed till now, and we can cover it up, or maybe we can perform the action as is. Okay. So by this, I'll take a halt. Let me know if we have any questions on the file related snaps we have discussed till now.
So there is a question in the chat box.
Okay. We can move or copy a file with different project. Yes, until and unless you have access. Hello.
Yeah,
You should
Manoj,
have an access. The same thing. I mean, different project, if you have access, they will provide you the access URL, like the way we generally can't perform a file movement within. We generally do the file copy or file movement within the project itself. We don't generally do it because you need an admin access for that to provide. And generally, as a developer, what we do, we generally within the project itself, maybe from one pipeline to another pipeline, we generally move the file project. In the sense, we are talking about this snap logic, right? But as I said, file operation is not possible with the snap logic. But let's say generally in your project or in your computer, there is this my computer, and you have created in the local disk D or C, you have created two folders, A and B. There is a file outside of A and B. You want to copy that file to A, you can perform. And you can say that those two are in a same project because they are in a same local disk, right? And but you want to perform or copy a file from A, which is in local disk C or D, and B, which is in local disk E. That is not possible because that access you need, that is a different access level that you need, and you can perform it only manually. Programmatically or maybe logically using snaps, you cannot do it from one disk to another disk. In this case, one project to another project, you need a separate access, but generally you cannot do it. You can perform within the local disk D itself. You may have different folders outside, inside that, and outside that there is a file. You want to copy that outside file into a particular location. In the sense, A, inside A you can move it, inside B you can move it, likewise. That is not possible because we have only SLDB, and SLDB copy and copy and move operation is not possible. That's where we are getting that problem. As we don't have any external system access, we cannot do that. We can only do one thing. You need to remember is we can only do copy from, as a developer, one folder to another folder within a project. Okay, that requires a specific access, and you won't be getting that. That requires a SnapLogic admin access and something where you can move the files manually and something. Okay, programmatically it is not possible, or snap level, I would say. Sachang, do you have any question?
Yeah. So I have seen copy item is snap in the right
Copy?
category. Yeah, copy item is snap, similar to file operation. So,
just a second. Yeah, this is same like the file operation, but they have given us here, if you see, OneDrive, document library, drive operation, right? So this is also an external, external system requirement. You need an external system access. OneDrive is from Microsoft, right? Microsoft OneDrive. So you need to create a Azure account or Microsoft related account, right? OneDrive related account for that. Or document library. This is also something related external. And drive is nothing but a Google Drive. Maybe if you go to account, you may see that. So likewise, these are some external systems, or all it has selected. We have to create a specific account for that, and then we can use it. So there are many related snaps, but basically the general file related snap we use are the ones that we have discussed. Even 95% of the times we use the same snaps instead of going for the their particular snaps, as I discussed about S3. Okay. You can explore. There are many snaps you can explore, and you can go to the documentation, you can see. But generally, in our normal terms or normal use cases, we use these type of snaps that we have discussed. Does anyone has any other questions? If not, I think Prashant, we can wind it up. Prashant, are you around?
Yes, Manoj. Thank you, team. Thank you, Manoj.
So task.
There is no task for this. You can just explore your options using file deletes and file operations. Okay, it's just a simple thing. File operation, you cannot perform SLDB, but you can do more analysis on that. File delete, it's a simple thing that we have discussed. You can just play around with the file delete and let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, there is no task. And just go and explore about all the snaps that we have discussed about the file related thing, or maybe try to build a pipeline using those as well. it's up to you how you can practice those. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.